I just like to say that something strange happened. Something strange has been happening. I'm at home, as we all know. We all are, all day, all week, all month or two. But my wife sees very little of me, strangely. And that is because I'm stuck in front of this wonderful device, and I'm doing webinars, and I'm doing, events, appearances, teaching. I'm busier than I was probably. But something strange happened about a week or two ago. Brands asked me to just do a kind of a selfie, talk to camera, and send it to us, and then they put some music to it, and they've been, peddling those. Now I'm supposed to shoot an ad film. So I said, okay, so when are we shooting the ad film? So they said, day after tomorrow. I said, how are we planning to do this? They're saying, we're planning to do this because you're going to make it yourself. I said, so what are you saying? Is it going to be a camera, I place a camera and talk to camera? They said, no. It's a very, very creative piece of advertising, filmmaking. I said, great. Now the problem is, how do we go ahead and shoot this? They're saying, we'll send you a gimbal and we'll send you a tripod. I said, great, don't worry, we'll do it. We'll have a director. I said, we must keep the director on a Zoom call to tell me what to do. It's not that I'm going to shoot it and say, ye mahol mein jitna kar sakta hai, maine kiya hai, ab le lo jo karna hai, karo. That's not what it's going to be. So I feel for quite some time, celebrities will be shooting their own, they'll be directing their own ad films, something that they thought they were doing all along in their careers to begin with. But having said that, it's a start, it's a change, and we have to adapt to change. Throughout my life, I've been adapting to change. I was a waiter at 19, I was a shopkeeper at 20, 22, a photographer at 30, an actor at 44, and now I'll be the first debut director when I'm a grandfather post 60. So I'm pretty geared up. I'm always ready to step out. That's why I dressed up for this occasion, because of the wonderful panelists that we have over here, and they shoved me right in front first. Up front and center. So first of all, salam to all of you wonderful panelists. It's great to have this discussion.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, but your tie and your dress up, I think you deserve the first chance. Hands down, make you lead it.
It's just a statement, Taapsee. I just feel I don't want to be locked up at home. I feel if I was on stage with you guys, I would come dressed like this. So stick to the occasion. It gives me a sense of occasion. But having said that, Taapsee, I genuinely feel I have two issues. I don't think that this is going to go on forever. I hate the word new normal. I just hate it. We adapt, yes, but I don't want to adapt to be sitting here and shooting my own ad films and doing webinars over here. I like, personal interaction, and that will happen. And this is not the optimist in me. It is someone who's saying that we've been through so many of these before. We will find a solution for this. So I refuse to accept that this is the new normal. But till such time, this is what we're going to do. My other, if I have a minute, 40 seconds left, if I have another shikayat, if I may, is that we've not had great creativity in advertising in many years. And I think this will be a situation where you're sitting with a phone in your face and doing an advertising campaign. Will the creativity deteriorate even further? I refuse to allow that to happen. I think this is the time where creative people should write even more creative stuff, considering that we are so restrained and constrained, if you know what I'm saying. I think we got to push the buck when it comes to creativity. Advertising has become more about endorsements. I hate to say that. Maaf kijiyega sabko, aap sabko. It's about endorsements, and I'm one of the culprits. What happened to the great advertising that we had a few years ago? I think of the times of Shubir and Nomita and Prasoon Pandey's direction and the creativity that took place then. I think we've lost that. Maybe it's a time that when we open up, let there be a renaissance of advertising. I'm sorry, apologies to anyone who felt offended by what I said, but this is what I feel. I agree with what Taapsee is saying, but apart from everything else, it's not, you'd like to know a little more about the celebrity. I think unpeel that onion, as I keep saying. It'll be very interesting to see another side. People are always interested in the private life of celebrities, so maybe that would be a route to go. But I say this, that I think that the day of pointing at a pack is over, in my opinion. I think that is now, is passé, over. It should have ended long time ago. maaf kijiyega. But having said that, I still feel that another big deciding factor and a tipping factor would be how good is the ad itself? How wonderful. You must see the ad. There was a time when people used to come to run to see an ad. And they used to come and they used to act out the ad for us. What happened to that? So that will make a big difference in getting eyeballs. The celebrity was a quick fix, and they did a great job, and they still will continue to do a great job because they are the ones that people are listening to now in the times of COVID, frankly speaking. These are the people that people are actually saying, you know, he's saying that, said it with so much heart. Such a nice way of putting it. Fantastic. Now they'll continue to listen to them. But it's what you make them say in what mahal. I think the creativity, and I insist on this, the creativity will have to be on another level. I'll tell you something that I've been working on for now 7 years, actually. I've started teaching, and I truly believe that we are going to be in a big...
And I am one of the students. I am one of the students.
The thing is that I truly believe that, you know, ever since the OTT platform has come into being and becoming this bigger giant that it is, and I don't know many A-listers, you know, in Netflix films and things like that, but that's what's being consumed big time and voraciously by a viewer. So this word is being bandied around content-driven. So content-driven, what does it actually mean? All films are supposed to be content-driven, even if they are pot-boilers. But at the end of the day, what content-driven actually means is what you can engage audiences for more than 10 minutes. Because if they have the option, they're going to go to the next thumbnail. It's not that they have to get out of one theater and go into another multiplex theater. So, right. So the thing was, I started learning as a student. I go to New York. I went to New York this last September. I was supposed to be here now as we speak. And I attend classes. And I've become a student all over again. And for the last 7 years, in fact, one of my gurus turned out to be, you know, he won an Oscar along the way. So I was very lucky to be a student of that guru. It was like I have a very personal guru-shishya relationship with him. So now I started a group called Spiral Bound. And every morning for 2 hours, I teach. And I don't just teach to pass time as a retiree. I teach so that we spread the word of not just content, but the science of writing screenplays. So we may have great ideas, and they may be very great, great as what we call content, but we don't have the structure to hold an audience for 2 hours. And that is something that I've been doing. I've done about 40 sessions, 40 classes now, and they're getting stronger and stronger by the day. And I think it's very, very important for a person who can.
And these are free classes.
Sorry?
These are free classes.
They are free classes for writers, and there are more and more people who've been writing for 10, 12 years who are now attending and very, very honestly tell me, we never thought of theme when we wrote, we just told the story. We never thought of 3-act structure, we just told the story. I said, that's great, but now we understand the science and understand that it has to be spread all over so that the quality of our films improve. And sometimes great ideas that come out, great ideas get destroyed because somehow the audience was lost. You know why? Because there was no structure. And that's something that I'm trying to propagate very, very hard for a long time now. And I think it's gaining a little bit of momentum. So that's what I've been doing since morning. Then in the afternoon, I have a photography session. We do a 2-hour photography session with the great Raghu Rai, presiding also. I present it too. And then in the evening, I do a couple of hours of just connecting with people who need a little bit of a moral boost, a little bit of what Brian says, be positive. You know, it's so important. And I think there's a lot of stress and there's a lot of psychosis that's going around the place. And if someone can put a smile on your face, and I do believe my mom always tells me, you've got the ability to put a smile on people's face. That's what I do in the evenings every day. That's how I spend my time. I'm okay with it just for a short period of time. I refuse to accept that. I refuse to accept that this is going to be the new normal. There will be a kind of a leftover, or maybe in the coming year, that there will be some, sanitizers all over the place, maybe masks in certain situations. But apart from that, but to answer your question in a short answer, yeah, why not?
I actually resonate a few thoughts with Boman sir, because yes, I've been asked to use my own phone camera or a camera to record and make certain videos, and patch it up together. It will be edited by someone else somewhere, and then I'll have to put it out. And that really makes me nervous because I never thought I could do anything else apart from just being an actor in front of the camera. I never imagined myself to be the one handling the camera. I don't think I ever envisioned that for myself. So that was somewhere things have started getting pushed even for me. I mean, you can look at it in a good way. Maybe I'll start learning something new about it. So definitely there'll be innovation, I feel. Not just in the brands or the association or the way the celebrities are going to present themselves, or the kind of creative ads that, as Boman sir mentioned, there'll be innovations of all kinds at all levels, I feel, of different I mean, involving all of us together. There'll be either extreme aggressive kind of marketing happening, or extremely hesitant kind of happening. There probably, I feel, there won't be a midway. I think where celebrity is concerned, especially, it will be needed. You cannot really think of totally like just cutting out of budget of taking off a celebrity, because there's a certain market who's already familiar with the celebrity, and that, yes, is a easier vehicle to just go cut across the masses. But yes, there'll be a certain different kind of creatives involved. How you're going to present a certain brand or a product, or through the celebrity, but how you're going to do it. There always been a weird concern that I always had whenever I saw a creative for an ad. For example, I used to say, you've taken me as an ambassador for a certain reason, for the kind of films I do, for the kind of image people have of mine in mind, and then you want me to present this ad in the most generic way. People don't know me for generic films or generic roles, or those conventional molds. But here you are asking me to just conventionally sell a certain brand. I'm like, why not use the fact that that's what connects you to the audience, that it's not conventional and it's not generic. So I guess that's where that whole creative shift and change in the kind of approach towards the audience from the brands is being talked about, is going to come in play. Also, yes, as everybody can see, the digital world is going to take over more than ever. After this, there are already so many ways and means of using the digital world that we have been introduced to in these last 45 odd days. It's time now. I always felt that success is about using the current resources you have in hand and making the best use of it. So I think that this is a time that we know these are our constraints, and that's when, even if people start moving out, lockdown opens up, people are moving around. It's not like they're going to spend a lot of time moving around. It's still going to be the digital world that's going to grab their attention more than any other world, because television also will take little time to produce the fresh content. It's going to take some time before the shooting begins. So I don't know how much of television is going to keep people glued for the ads. Print as well. I don't know how much time will it take for people to just circulate, get into the print newspaper world back into their house. It's going to take a little while. So I guess the digital world is going to be taking over more than any time else. And smaller short-term campaigns is what I feel. As a celebrity, people would want to shoot something yourself and put it out there, like in your own house. That probably the theory of relatability will come into play even more, because you feel more
authentic.
Yeah,
they can relate to you.
Yeah.
Taapsee is one of us.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what has been the biggest selling point. And just to finish up, what I want to say, I totally agree to the fact that I don't want to believe that this is going to be a normal forever. We are talking about a race who went through that Spanish flu. And yes, it might have taken a longer time to come back, or it would have taken, because the technology was not that advanced back then. But here we are, after so many years, after 100 odd years, going through something similar. We will bounce back. I mean, it's not going to stay forever. We're talking about people a generation older to us who've seen probably a World War II, where we thought that the world is. It's a catch-22 situation, if you ask me. We are not that visible in our usual medium. So yes, the audience is hungry to see what the celeb is going to say or do. But at the same time, all celebs, I don't know how well everybody knows how to milk how Brian said, the person behind the personality, because that's what's going to sell on digital platform. Your character is not going to sell whatever you've been on the television or in films. How many of you can really milk out that person behind that personality and sell it out for the audience to consume? Because you might just not know how to get their attention during this time. So it is a catch-22 both sides. Audience wants to see, but as a celebrity, do you have enough or sensible stuff to put out for them to consume? Because they have a lot of options actually to look out for. So you should be having something to get their attention well enough. So I think that way, as a celebrity, it's a catch-22 from both the sides. As an actor, I'll say, we can't be on set right now. So all I can do right now is listen to the scripts and ideas and just have a hypothetical plan of a certain sort, put ahead, like with my team, discuss what kind of films and watch those kind of films. And because, I think the kind of OTT content the audience has been exposed to during this lockdown, when they're going to step out, and if they would want to spend that 500 rupees to go into theater and watch, they would want their time to be really worth it, because they've been forced to watch some really good content from all across the world right now. So if you have to get them into theater and make them spend those precious 500 bucks that they've been saving for this entire lockdown, you need to be now really pulling your socks. So I guess that's where the actor in me is, that's what the actor in me is working on, to make sure the content I'm going to put out after this is going to be at par with what they've been experiencing or even above. I'll try it for that. As a brand endorser, I've always try to give a very real presence on my social media and wherever I am available in person or now on these webinars. I try to be there as myself, so people know the person behind the personality. And that's why I feel like, I have this connect with my audience as a person who's from probably a regular middle class background, who would connect with them. These are the kind of characters I represent. This is the kind of person I am in real, and I make sure that comes across through my social media. So when I come across and say that, okay, this is the product I'm using, they genuinely believe, because I am very conscious of the kind of products I pick up and endorse, because I should be using those. So my audience becomes more confident of picking up that product. So I'm making sure that real presence is still there.
Give us an example of what you did in 45 days. Give us an example
of what I did as a real person.
As in, what did you do to engage with your audience during this?
Okay, I'll give you an example. So I started this series from the third day of the lockdown, where I started putting out those real life stories behind certain pictures that were there in my archive collection. So I started pulling out stories from like 7-10 years back, pictures from 7-10 years back. And I started putting out the real stories behind those pictures, which were from my personal life mostly, not the professional life. When was this picture clicked? What was really happening during that time this picture was clicked? So there's a very real, believable story which can happen to anyone else. So it makes them feel I'm as much a normal, regular person as them. So that's the way I have been approaching my celebrity status till now, and I've continued doing that during the lockdown with these archive posts that I've been posting regularly. I have a certain theory behind it, if you allow me to tell you. The Thappad was in theaters for, say, 2 weeks. And It's not a film that opens up in a grand way. We opened a little above 3.5 or something. We opened around that. We ended up having a very stable run in the second weekday, which is a mark of a film that has a word of mouth, a good word of mouth. So after second week, we were taken off the theater because of Corona. And our audience is supposedly the educated A-center audience who is more aware about Corona, who was not stepping into theater and watching it. Still having a stable run was giving us an indication this film is going to go on for a total of 6 weeks. We could have ran for 3 to 4 weeks more if Corona wouldn't have happened. Now, this audience is the one who sits back and plans and goes to theater after watching a review. So this audience has now read enough about the film when it had released, because a lot was spoken around it. So now when it has come on OTT, they are giving it a chance. And this is the audience who writes more on OTT, unlike a lot of others who, regular audience who will go and watch theater. Everybody doesn't have that kind of a social media presence. So the people who write on social media a lot are the ones who are watching it now. So that's why you see a, you know, almost equal or more reaction to the film now when it has released on OTT.